to hear the chief guest of the day, the Governor of Maharashtra, Shri Vidyasagar Rao ji. Our chief guest for this evening hails from Telangana, but his connection with Maharashtra is from the time that he has studied in Nanded. He has served as the Union Minister of State for Home Affairs in Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji's government. He was the Union Minister of State for Commerce and Industry. He was also the BJP State President in 1998, in the year when BJP was developing as a powerful political party. His presence here today is an honor for all of us, and as someone who understands the value of education, may we request Shri Vidyasagar Rao ji, the Governor of Maharashtra, to address the august gathering. Thank you.
Sri Ashish Shallar, Honorable Minister for School Education and Sports, People's Representatives, Srimati Shashikala Vanjari, Vice Chancellor, SNDT Women's University, Mr. Sami Yahya, Acting Consul General, Saudi Arabia, Dr. Zahir Qazi, President, Anjuman-e Islam, Council members and General Council members of Anjuman, Vice Presidents and Office Bearers, Principals and Heads of various Anjuman and other institutions, all distinguished invitees, teachers, past teachers, alumni, staff, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and greetings to all of you. This is for the second time I am attending a program organized by the Anjuman-e Islam. I hold Dr. Zahir Qazi, the learned President of Anjuman-e Islam, in high esteem. Any request coming from him becomes a command and I have to oblige. I am indeed delighted to share the joy of all of you as Anjuman celebrates its 140th anniversary of dedicated service to society. This is a moment of glory not just for Anjuman but to the city of Mumbai and state of Maharashtra. I congratulate Anjuman-e Islam for its multifarious contributions to the cause of nation building and empowerment of Muslims through education, skills and professional education. It is amazing to see that this small sapling of Anjuman-e Islam, planted by the founding fathers in 1874, has blossomed into a large banyan tree encompassing more than 90 educational and social service institutions all across Maharashtra. I understand that Anjuman institutions cover the widest range of subjects, including engineering, medicine, business management, architecture, pharmacy, hotel management and catering and many other subjects. One subject of course lies added by our Honorable Minister Ashish Shallar ji. It is remarkable that Anjuman shapes the life and career of almost 1 lakh students annually. Anjuman has given the nation doctors, engineers, public servants, social reformers and leaders in all walks of life. I was amazed to note that former Chief Minister E.R. Antule, I repeat, film star Dilip Kumar, Hollywood film producer Ismail Merchant, actor comedian Khader Khan, cricketer Salim Durrani and Gulam Parker were among the alumni of Anjuman. That is truly enviable. The founders of Anjuman-e-Islam were truly visionaries. They thought of skill development and vocational training in the early years of Anjuman. As our President elaborated, long back they started skill development, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and Shadi Mubarak programs also. I'm really proud of them. I salute the memory of founding fathers who were pioneers of modern education, great patriots and emancipators of Muslims in India. Without their generosity and vision, the institution would have not seen this day. As Governor of Maharashtra, I have come here to convey my appreciation to Anjuman-e-Islam. Mumbai is proud of Anjuman, Maharashtra is proud of Anjuman, and all of us are proud of Anjuman. The Anjuman is fortunate to have Dr. Zahir Khazi as its president. I am pleased to note that under his guidance, Anjuman has plans to create a medical college, college for pure sciences, nursing college, sports academy, and so on. I congratulate the president and other council members for leading the Anjuman institutions on the path of a glorious future. Ladies and gentlemen, we are standing at the critical juncture in the history of our nation. India is emerging as one of the youngest nations in the world. And it is going to emerge most influential nations in the world. There was a time when the voice of India was barely heard at the international forum. Today, India commands attention and respect from world leaders. Only 2 days ago, the world has seen the warm and cordial meetings of between our President, our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, and President Mr. Trump. The next 3 to 4 decades are going to be most important for us. By next year, that is by 2020, India will have become the youngest nation in the world. The average age of an Indian will be 29 years, almost 8 years younger than the American and 8 years younger than the Chinese. It is predicted that India will enjoy this demographic advantage for the next 3 decades. How and whether we can take advantage of the demographic advantage depends on how we transform our youth into productive human resources. Needless to say, educational institutions will have to play an utmost important role in empowering our students and youth through education. It will not be enough to provide the students the best of knowledge alone. They will also have to be equipped with diverse skills, technical skills, vocational skills, and even soft skills. Most importantly, we will have to inculcate moral values to shape the character of students. A skilled working population on par with the best in the world will help us reap dividends like none other. Many countries are aging population are looking up to India to meet their requirements of manpower and skilled workforce. We must be mindful of the current global trend. Jobs are shrinking. It will not be enough to have one single skill to get a job. People with multiple skills and advanced skills will have an advantage over others in the years to come. I will appeal to parents and teachers to help the students and youths to acquire and develop as many skills in their formative years. Dear teachers and parents, there is a growing shortage of teachers in the world. I believe that young India has the potential to meet the requirement of good teachers for the entire world. I understand that Anjuman has plans to start a teachers training academy. I will call upon the trustees to create a world-class academy for training of good teachers. This will help us to overcome the shortage of good teachers. Dear friends, I was pleased to learn from the brochure sent to me by the organizers that this educational institution was created to bring about the educational upliftment of Muslims through modern as well as Islamic education. 145 years after the establishment of Anjuman-e-Islam, the task of bringing about the educational upliftment of Muslims is far from over. In fact, we need renewed efforts to facilitate the educational, social, economic and political upliftment of the Muslim community. For this to happen, the community leaders must join hands and see what best they can do to provide Muslim boys and girls advantage in education, employment and other walks of life. I will call upon Anjuman to create hostels for the students, girl students and working women in Mumbai to facilitate their education and training. Education alone can make the Muslim community strong, vibrant and prosperous. If any religion believes more in charity and in the spirit of caring and sharing, it is Islam. And therefore, if every educated and well-off Muslim family helps one poor person, I think it is possible to uplift the entire Muslim community as visualized by the founding fathers of Anjuman. Dear sisters and brothers, I have come across a number of institutions and companies, publicly traded companies. But this is a glaring example. People should learn about this institution, how it is growing up. Recently in America, a think tank, they conducted a survey in 22,000 publicly traded companies spread over in 90 countries. 22,000 publicly traded companies. They covered a lot. Ultimately, they found one reality. The companies which are earning profit, who employ more than 30% of the women, they are earning the profits. When I was inquiring about this institution, and President was pleased to mention that the women employees are more than 75% here in this institute. And I asked about the teachers also. He was telling that more than 50% or 50-50 it is there. So American think tank, they should get an example of this Anjuman-e-Islam. It is proved to be true and correct. Dear friends, before I conclude, I would like to mention one thing. Because you are parting education, modern education also you are giving, and secondly, basing on the ethics and principles, ideal values of the Islam also you are taking into consideration. When we talk about the Islam, Islam is part and parcel of this country. Indonesia is Islamic country. Next to India, most of the people here in India, they have faith in Islam. We are number 2. We talk about Pakistan, that is different. When we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we think about everybody. But so far as Islam is concerned, You must differentiate. Islam is different, Pakistan is different. India is part and parcel of Islam. Islam is a part and parcel of this country. अरे हमारे ऊपर को जिहाद करेंगे? We are number 2 in having Islamic faith in the world. That we should think we must be proud of that. So just I want to make one example given by Swami Vivekananda. As per Vivekananda, what I feel personally is the Muslims and Hindus and others, we have to swim together and sing together. We have to be together in this country. 121 years ago, Swami Vivekananda had written a wonderful letter to his Muslim friend Muhammad Sarfaraz Hussain of Nainital. आप इंटरनेट में गए तो ये पूरा लेटर आपको मिलेंगे, ये नई चीज नहीं है. This letter was written by Swami Vivekananda to him. He was having a close friend, Mr. Sarfaraz Hussain of Nainital. In his letter, he said so many things, but I am quoting only a simple portion. In this letter, dated 10th June 1898, Swami Vivekananda spoke of harmonizing the Vedas, the Bible and the Quran for the progress of humanity. Swami Vivekananda writes, and I quote, "Mankind ought to be taught that religions are but the varied expressions of the religion which is oneness, so that each may choose that path that suits him best. For our own motherland, a junction of the two great systems, Hinduism and Islam, Vedanta brain and Islam body." In his language he wrote to him. So how inclusive, our President was telling about the inclusiveness. Vivekananda to his Sarfaraz Hussain, his close friend, said the emotional integration and rather fusion of the Muslim community and Hindu community he had mentioned. Vedanta brain and Islam body is the only hope I see in my mind's eye, the future perfect India rising out of this chaos and strife, glorious and invincible with Vedanta brain and Islam body. Once again he has completed his letter. Let us all join hands to realize the goal of Swami Vivekananda to make India glorious and invincible. With these words, I congratulate Anjuman-e-Islam on its outstanding services to the nation and wish all of you Godspeed in your future endeavors. Thanking you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you very much, sir, for appreciating Anjuman Islam's services to humanity. You have been highly inspiring. It's now time to say a big thank you to our honorable guest here today.